I wanted to mention some articles that we covered last week and earlier this week because Dr. Edward Group joins us once a month in studio because he's here in Texas and travels to the Central Texas studios to join us. Dr. Edward Group at the Global Healing Center. Water fluoridation linked to higher ADHD rates in major new studies in the Journal of Environmental Health. Okay, that's one of the most prestigious out there. That's Newsweek. We're forcing this out. You cannot hide this. 90+% of the scientists in the EPA and FDA twice have gotten together in the last decade and sent letters to their superiors at the head of the FDA and EPA saying ban it. Okay? So the people in government are actually good. It's that the bureaucracies run by big corporations that are blocking all this. When the dam breaks or the cover-up, it's over. Here's another one. Fluoride in drinking water may trigger depression, weight gain, warn scientists in a new study. And it goes into frying your thyroid, pancreas, depression, obesity. Absolutely. Let's continue. That is out of the London Telegraph. Impact of fluoride on neurological development in children. Now, these two last articles were from this week. This one's from a few years ago. That's Harvard. Here is Environmental Health Perspectives. Developmental fluoride neurotoxicity, a systematic review of meta-analysis. And this goes into a huge study on brain damage, you name it. I mean, you wonder why people are dumb and in a fog, but here's what's more important. Prozac derivatives run off into all major water supplies. Hydrofluorosilicic acid is fluoride that's basically been electrically charged. I've had physicists, scientists, toxicologists, brain surgeons on, medical doctors, you name it, endocrinologists, they all concur. It's been in the literature forever. They knew back in the 30s that fluoride was an adjuvant and dumbed people down and made them submit. The Soviets and the Nazis put it in the water. That's in Pulitzer Prize-winning books. Look it up. Nuremberg trial. But they also found it accelerates other drugs in the body. It magnifies, like an amplifier, their effect. That's why they put it in, folks. It is accelerating all the other toxins. And we're going to talk to Dr. Edward Group, whose dad was a famous chemist. Dr. Group's done massive studies on this, one of the leading experts. Now, I went over all that because I've also got another article here. Study confirms chronic kidney failure 5 times higher in glyphosate-ridden areas. And the studies, there's 2 of them, found 5 times higher. We put in the YouTube headline, may be linked to it. I mean, InfoWars, whoever wrote that headline, I'm not mad, but we actually kind of whitewashed it. We need to stop doing that. To all my crew, I talked to the whole crew here on air. You're great. But the study said there was 5 times fold increase. So the headline we have is 5 times fold increase in kidney failure in areas with glyphosate in the water. Then you can go read the study and make your own decision. But, I mean, this is killing people. There's a reason they're opening up dialysis places all over. And you look at a map of where Roundup's used around the world, they didn't have all this kidney failure in Brazil 20 years ago. They bring it in, suddenly it skyrockets. Or Guatemala, or Nigeria, or Thailand, or Sri Lanka. That's what's in these studies. Now, joining us is Dr. Edward Group. I'm going to try to shut up so he can roll over all this. But first I'm going to plug, because I didn't plug last hour, because it happens to dovetail with exactly why he came in today. And we'll show folks a shot of these household products that are admitted testosterone blockers. You wonder why males in the West have a testosterone level about 2/3 lower than the average third world male, why genitalia in blacks, whites, Hispanics, doesn't matter, are shrinking in size, why 87 to 96, depending on what country you're in, of the sperm are dead, basically, or non-mobile, they don't have tails. Why is this happening? Because these chemicals are known to fry your entire male system. I mean, it works great if you want a big, giant prostate and to die of cancer. We're going to talk about all this coming up with Dr. Edward Group. But he developed Super Male and Super Female Vitality. Super Female Vitality sold out right now. We just got it in fortuitously the day he was already scheduled to be here. It arrived on the truck. We are going to be able to now offer Super Male Vitality, sold out for 2 weeks. And I've got even better news. It is the Super Male Vitality that has 3 new ingredients in it. One of the ingredients we can no longer get and certify organic, and it was just a detoxifier that we have in the fluoride shield. When we have to discontinue that, the Shilajit of an organic type, it didn't matter. That wasn't one of the boosters. That was just one of the cleaners. So we added 3 things for the one thing we took out, And I had an advanced batch before we manufactured it a few months ago. And quite frankly, I still like the Super Female the best. But this is better than the original Super Male. And each batch is different. I take it 3 times a day. Unbelievable. Because what it does, and Dr. Group will talk about this, is helps get your organs going, helps get the glands going, because we're bombarded with estrogen mimickers and these toxins. And so I used to be against doing stuff like this because I thought, well, I don't need more testosterone. That makes you crazy. Well, yeah, if it's a moderate amount, that's what you're naturally supposed to have. Guys that are all roided out, it's terrible. But the natural way to do it is avoid these products and then take the proper herbs to boost it. Now, Dr. Group, that's a 5-minute rant. We're going to skip this network break to give you time. The new Super Male Vitality, Super Female sold out, but Super Male works for women as well, is now available at InfoWarsLife.com. I want to thank you all for your purchases. It's what funds our operation. We sell high-quality water filtration that cuts out the fluoride. Yes, we sell what we use, what we believe in, what's high quality, in a win-win, karmic deal. We only want to help others. That helps us. It's called being God-fearing, and it funds the operation. God has blessed us. Thank you for your support. InfoWarsLife.com or 888-253-3139. A limited supply. It'll be probably 4 weeks till we get more, but a limited first run is here of the new Super Male Vitality, new and improved. Dr. Group, before you do your presentation on forget getting Super Male, there's things you can do, as you were telling me earlier, right now to boost your testosterone and a bunch of other things and to keep the estrogen mimickers out of you without buying diddly jack squat from us. Okay, it's very simple, but InfoWarsLife.com, new Super Male is available, InfoWarsLife.com. Talk about Super Male, the new formulation, then get into your presentation.
Okay, so what we wanted to do with the new Super Male was make it more bioavailable. And then since we had the original Super Male Vitality out there for a long time, we were noticing that we could actually take a few of the herbs and change them around and strengthen some of them and then weaken a couple of the other ones. The whole goal was to create a stronger, more potent formula using advanced extraction methodologies. And just to explain that, people, what herbal extraction is.
Cold press, concentrated.
Most of the herbal supplements you're going to get out there are extracted using solvents, and that's alcohol, which is an endocrine disrupting chemical, and other types of chemicals, solvents. And they use high heat. But what we were trying to do, especially, and we did that with the original Super Male, but now we've taken it to the next level to where we're able to actually capture the potency of the essential oils in the plant, where the resins in the plant, all of the components that made the original Super Male Vitality so effective. So this formula has a kind of a new processing technique and is actually, I would say, the results are extremely better from the people that have tried it over the last, it's only been out for maybe 2 or 3 months in testing phase.
It doesn't taste as good because it's stronger. I can tell that.
Yeah, you can definitely taste more of the plant components, but as far as...
I mean, it didn't taste good before, but now, it tastes like you're drinking something serious.
I mean...
I'm going to be honest with folks.
The libido aspect of it, the mental acuity aspect of it, just feeling the fat burning ability, all of the things that you got with the original Super Male Vitality, now you're getting even increased effects with the new Super Male Vitality and the fact that we have the fulvic acid in there, which acts to carry those plant constituents into the cells deeper and make them more bioavailable. So all in all, I would say it's probably 20 to 30% more potent than the original Super Male Vitality was.
It doesn't taste bad. It just, you taste it and it's like, wow, that's something serious.
Yeah, it is. And one of the things, you have so many males out there right now that are on testosterone, either the patches or the injections. But the main concern that we talk about on this show all the time is the estrogen levels, the high estrogen levels. And today, I actually...
Testosterone breaks down into estrogen, right?
Yes, and in the male, it's estradiol. And so one of the reasons why you're having side effects in the FDA coming down and saying testosterone causes strokes and heart attacks is not necessarily because of the testosterone that you're on, but it's because of the high estrogen levels. Again,
well, I've talked to weightlifters and people who for years did take tests on things, and they said, listen, and these people I know personally, they said, man, this isn't a joke. I thought it was, quack stuff because I've tried other supplements. This stuff is like hardcore. What in the world's in it? I know some of them have been around here and you've talked to them. I mean, but this is natural. And explain to people, this doesn't mimic testosterone. Explain to me how it works. It gets your body's glands just to wake up, or...
Okay, so how it works is the herbs that we chose are designed to boost the body's own production of testosterone, balancing the levels of testosterone to estrogen or estradiol in the body, as well as boosting your natural growth hormone production. So it actually causes the body to say, well, do I need more to produce more testosterone today? It actually activates your reproductive system to produce more testosterone.
Tell folks the things you've added to the formula, because you've added more things and removed one thing.
Well, we actually didn't add anything. We just moved things around a little bit. And the reason we did...
Well, then I misunderstood you. I guess you increased some of the things.
Yeah, we increased some of the herbs and made them stronger. We did switch to some organic herbs, some better sources and suppliers, but it was really more of the extraction process and the process.
So the only thing that's different then is the Shilajit.
The only thing that's different is the strength of the individual herbs that we put in there, and we took the Shilajit out and added fulvic acid, which really Shilajit is mostly fulvic acid anyway. It's a fulvic acid and humic acid blend. So
and what does the fulvic acid do? That's an adjuvant, right? It turbocharges?
Fulvic acid is...
It makes everything in there stronger? Or?
It makes it more bioavailable. It makes it stronger. And fulvic acid in itself is a healing agent. It contains multiple minerals inside the fulvic acid. So if you combine, 50, 60 different minerals into that formula as well, it's almost like you have the soil and the actual herb inside the bottle at once. So you're going to get the humic and the fulvic content usually in good compost. So it's almost like we're taking the whole plant with the soil and processing it all together, and the end product is a herbal extraction that's done with a cold processing system that we're 10 or 15 years ahead of the time as far as extraction, because we're able to concentrate all of the components, especially the active components of the herb.
So it's not like dry herbs that have been in a warehouse for 5 years and are basically dead. It's fresh, raw, organic, concentrated, and that's why it's having such a big effect.
Well, one of the things that we try to do as much as we can is get the herbs as fresh as we can. And a lot of times it's good to dry them or even freeze dry them. And that preserves the components in those individual herbs. But yes, not using the high heat. And when we can get herbs as fresh as we can, we get them cut and sifted instead of powdered. Anytime you buy powdered herbs, since the herbs are already in a fine powder, then they oxidize and you lose some of those essential oils. I mean, essential oils are one of the most powerful forms of medicinal qualities that you have.
So really, to be fair, from a layman's perspective, when you read these ingredients, these are really concentrated mixtures or formulas of essential oils from the plants.
The old alchemists.
That's why they're so thick. I mean, this is oil.
Yeah, this is we're doing like an extraction and then another extraction. I mean, we're making this concentrated resin almost that's then mixed in. It goes back to the old alchemist ways of Paracelsus, where spagyric processing is separating and then recombining back to life. So the old way they used to do it is distill out the essential oils and then ferment the plant material and then use other different types of solvents. But now with the technology, we can actually take the plant material and combine and not lose the essential oils and the resins and all the active components of the plant. Any alcohol tincture that you find on the market out there is only probably 40% to 50% of the actual constituents.
Well, my issue isn't the tiny bit of alcohol you get in it. It's that obviously the alcohol is going to basically suck out the nutrients and as a solvent break down the different ring structures of the trace elements and things that are in there. It's going to kill, like a microwave, what was there. To put it in layman's terms, is that right?
Right. And alcohol in itself is an endocrine disrupting chemical. So besides the fact that most alcohol is made from corn and is genetically modified, and that's one of the reasons why, even with net neutrality, I mean, the government, the pharmaceutical companies, we look all around us and it's all a chemical attack. And the chemical attack is to reduce your immune system, create illness, and then try to come on the back end and manage that illness.
Well, that's what I was going to get to next, is that when you look at mainline Newsweek, mainline Harvard, mainline London Telegraph, yes, fluoride is making you fat, is giving you cancer, is making your thyroid screw up. You either get low or high thyroid, it says, is causing ADHD. That's everything you and Dr. Blaylock and everybody have been saying for decades. It's in the medical literature, just like vaccines hurting people are. How long can they keep covering it up, A? And then B, what do you make of the schizophrenia where National Geographic in one issue said that fluoride's really bad for you, but then in the next issue made fun of people? What's going on? Because used to they just said it's good for you, shut up. Now, what is mainstream doing telling the truth?
Finally, I mean, the more people that get educated on the negative effects of fluoride, the better. I think it's coming to a point where people are demanding the truth. And
so many journalists have brain-damaged kids. Right. Nothing will wake you up like taking your 2-year-old for a shot and they start bleeding out the nose and never talk again. That'll kind of wake you up, won't it?
And that's the same thing that's happening, I think, really across the board. I mean, look what happened with BPA with the baby bottles. I mean, there was a big outcry. And I think once the public gets to a certain point, then, and like you said, once these studies come out, it's getting into the mainstream. It's getting into the journals. I mean, you can look at the mainstream medical journals across the board, and yes, they still do put out a lot of bad stuff. But at the same time, there's a demand that people want to know about phthalates and the effects on the thyroid. There's independent scientists, independent doctors that are pushing.
Well, what about McDonald's and Dreyer's ice cream? I mean, it's no exaggeration, 10, 15 companies a week, but McDonald's is the biggest. The #1 retail food seller out there for fast food worldwide. They're pulling GMO wheat, GMO corn, they say. They're pulling high fructose corn syrup, they claim. They're going in that direction. They claim they're pulling the synthetic growth hormone out of their milk. I mean, these are devastating victories.
They are devastating victories, which are great. I mean, I've always said the best way to attack this is to not buy the things that are dangerous, that are ruining the environment and ruining your health.
Well, what is the elite going to do, though, as people start to wake up and actually read the vaccine insert? I mean, I know this since I started reading the inserts on air every week neurotically. They are coming after us, man. They are mad. Just because we're reading the insert.
From what I hear, they're going to start vaccinating people through the air.
That's what Bill Gates is funding, yeah, and through food.
You know, there's nothing you can do about that. I mean, if they mix vaccines in with the chemtrails and they already have all these quadrivalent and hexavalent and trivalent things, and they can, you know, easily surround them with lipid profiles and stuff like that to where they're not going to be damaged in the air by, you know, they can float down right on.
The time released, nasally delivered.
That's the thing. That's part of the reason why they were saying, oh, let's contain this measles outbreak at Disneyland or Disney World or whatever. They're starting to say, okay, in the future, we can rope off an area by air or, you know, set up military, you know, personnel around that area or whatever, and it's going to be a lot easier to just go over and spray the whole city.
Yeah, for those that don't read it, for those that don't read, and people that, the crew can pull this up, Bill Gates developing vaccines in bananas, vaccines in corn, vaccines to be sprayed by air, vaccines to be delivered by mosquito, quote, so people can't get away with avoiding it. And you know they're already testing it on the third world.
Yeah, that's right. So what I've been saying is don't buy the Roundup, the glyphosate. I mean, really, when you look at it, if you look at the...
Why are you racist against kidney failure?
Because I don't want to see kidney failure. I don't want to see people go through. And that's a good point that you made with all the dialysis. I don't even remember a dialysis center when I was growing up. But not only are you seeing dialysis centers everywhere, you're seeing infertility clinics everywhere.
By the way, look at those headlines.
Bill Gates unleashes swarm of mosquitoes on crowd.
Fox News. Then you go back to the Bill and Melinda Gates website. It's all on there.
Yeah, Bill Gates is...
I mean, he's just as bad.
Talking about Soros, but I mean, Bill Gates is just as bad, and you know...
Probably worse.
Probably. But...
I don't know how at 87 or whatever it is, how Soros is just involved in everything. He's got the energy of like a 14-year-old.
He's got some alien technology or something, I don't know. But he probably does have some sort of, you know, microchip or something that's controlling...
I don't know how. I mean, the guy's got the energy of like 500 devils. I mean, I don't know how he does it. Doesn't matter. We're going to come after him with everything we got. He wants a fight. He's going to get it. Stay with us, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to look at these products when we come back and warn you how to boost your testosterone naturally straight ahead. Dr. Group, just briefly, then I want to get into, you've got some of the household products right there. 5 household items destroying your hormones and making you fat. This isn't just news for men. We'll talk about what it's doing to women as well. So you don't have to buy Super Male Vitality to do this, folks. You can just stay off this stuff and you'll see a huge effect. I know I have over the years trying to only use natural products. But if you do want to support the broadcast and try something that's had really amazing effects for myself, you've heard the listeners and their rave reviews, the new formula that I guess is just increased power, increased strength, you're saying 30 or more % of Super Male Vitality is here, available at InfoWarsLife.com, and your purchase makes all of this possible. We have the methylcobalamin-based, super organic, super concentrated, higher absorption rate from the information we've looked at of vitamin B12 in the mouth. It's just pure vitamin B12, 2 different types, 80% methylcobalamin. We have the lung cleanse that folks love. That's, what is it, close to 20 natural concentrated herbs and extracts. It's super thick, though. Only problem is you got to wash out the spray cap sometimes because it didn't like something with 2 or 3 ingredients and some menthol. It's really thick essential oil tincture, basically, but it's naturally based. InfoWarsLife.com as well. The Oxy powder that flushes out the guts, DNA Force, that special, 30% off is still running on that. Silver Bullet, Colloidal Silver, and a whole bunch of other really great products. We've got a wonderful organic Mediterranean-sourced variety of the strongest type. Very low price on that for oil of oregano. We've got super high-quality AcuPowder. It's kind of the poor man's version of DNA Force. It isn't just for the eyes. Just so many great products. And if you try them, all we've gotten 99% of the time is rave reviews. We've had 1 caller and I think 1 email saying it didn't do anything for him. That was Super Male and AcuPower. So InfoWarsLife.com or 888-253-3139. And, you know, we don't do fund drives and get $450 million a year like NPR and then do fund drives every week. We don't have globalists funding us. We don't plug every segment like other talk show hosts do. I'm not saying that's bad. Talk radio and the rest of the economy's in trouble. You got to make money to operate. We maybe plug once or twice a day normally, and then once a month or so we come in and spend maybe 10 minutes out of an hour really telling you about these great products. And we got 10% off of the super high-quality water filtration systems at InfoWarsStore.com. InfoWarsLife.com is a subsection. The ProPure G2, the clearly filtered. Cut out the glyphosate. Cut out the fluoride. I mean, it's simple. Buy a high-quality filter at a low price, fund our operation, 10% off promo code WATER, and protect yourself and your family. InfoWarsLife.com or 888-253-3139. Now, going back to Dr. Edward Group, you've got the floor, my friend. Let's get into just some of these products that we know are menacing our testosterone levels. Just like Associated Press reported 7 years ago, we can pull this up. Printer ink, most printer ink has BPA in it that destroys your testosterone. So we're just, again, it's in the money. That's another headline. Money has BPA in it. We're being bombarded by design. Speak first to the master plan. Clearly, they know fluoride's doing this. Clearly, they know the vaccines are doing it. What's the end game? And then break down how we can at least mitigate some of this by getting natural products that in many cases are less expensive than the toxic forms of them.
Well, originally when I was doing my research as to the root cause of all disease, it all linked back to chemicals. But then when you start looking at the chemicals and saying, okay, how does that affect the body? The big picture starts coming into play because you realize that the majority of the chemicals are going to have an effect on the thyroid gland, or they're going to have an effect on the intestinal lining. Those are all endocrine glands, and those produce hormones. That's what keeps you happy. That's what keeps you strong. Pretty much all the symptoms that people develop, negative symptoms in their life, are all due to some form of chemical. But the link with the hormones was really incredible because it got deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper because we started linking everything in the kitchen. You know, you can link it to the introduction to microwave ovens. I mean, and then the plastic foods that go into microwave ovens, the phthalates, all of the chemicals, and linking back to the chemical companies, the pharmaceutical companies, and the relationship between all of them, that they don't even have to list most of the chemicals on the label. There's 80,000 toxic, carcinogenic chemicals that are allowed by the FDA, by the USDA, by our government, that are allowed to be put in household products. And they know that if they can affect your hormone problems, number one, you're going to have a population control system going on, because the male sperm count's going to go way down. You're going to have high estrogen content in males and females. Obesity rate's going to rise. Diabetes rates exponentially. If you mess with the hormone levels, you're going to see a rise in every single degenerative disease. You're going to see a rise in death. And you're also going to see a reduction of births and, you know, with fertility. You're going to start seeing infertility and sterility. And the scary thing about this is, and all these chemicals.
By the way, document everything neurotically. Put up sperm counts plummet in the West, and it'll show 86 to 90-something%. It'll be BBC, AP, Reuters. Hit the enemy hard. And that's why the enemy hates us. We just show everything. All we're doing is showing people what's actually admitted. Go ahead. And that's all traceable back, because you're not going to get any of these chemicals. Are going to come in through your skin, or they're going to come in through your mouth. Wall Street Journal, the decline in male fertility. Look at that. Hit them and hit them hard.
Yep. And you said earlier the glyphosate, and not only glyphosate, but the atrazine, and those are two heavily produced hormone endocrine disrupting chemicals that are sprayed on 80% of the crops that have all gotten into the water system. You know, how do you avoid all these things? Men ask me, what are some of the most common things that I'm doing that I can eliminate right now?
Look at that headline. TV, 20 hours a week, cut sperm count in half, according to a new study. What source is that? That's out of London Independent. I mean, I already knew that, and causes neurological disorders. The television is a weapon.
Right, and cell phones. Cell phones also alter the production of testosterone and alter the sperm.
They break DNA. They cause sperm mutations.
Right, that's right. So, you know, you can go through your house and find a majority of things, but really one of the key things is men. I mean, women have hormone imbalances too. I mean, but they're more attuned to theirs. Men, they just start getting lethargic. They start losing their energy levels. They start accumulating fat around their stomach. And that fat around the stomach is all due to high estrogen levels, estradiol levels in males, and low testosterone. Also, something that's not talked about a lot is males actually produce progesterone as well. And we're seeing that progesterone levels in male are almost nil. So you have high estradiol levels, extremely low testosterone levels, and virtually non-existent progesterone levels. And those hormones really control everything.
There's a reason that our grandfathers were super good looking, skinny, and would eat giant meals and didn't even really work out other than doing stuff on the ranch or whatever. And then now I've seen the studies that we eat less than people used to. It's just the additives and the crud and all of it. That's why you have these giant fat people everywhere.
Practically every cosmetic product. I mean, just for example, most men use deodorant.
Let's talk about these products. You're not just singling out Speed Stick or Dial. I mean, it's in all of them, but go over.
No, these are just
what to look for.
As a matter of fact, like 95% of the deodorants out there, and you don't think that it's a big deal just putting one or two strips of deodorant on every morning, but you have to remember that deodorant has aluminum, which is a metalloestrogen, and it's a hormone disrupting chemical.
An adjuvant, right?
Yep. And all of the chemicals that are in here are all plasticizers. It's in a plastic bottle. These are all you know, you can't even pronounce half of them. There's polyethylene glycol in here. 90% of the chemicals inside deodorant, including the aluminum, are toxic to the body.
Explain. Your dad was a famous petrochemical chemist. They have all these distillates, the stuff they'd have to store or get rid of, so they just put it in thousands of products.
Right. And actually what most people don't know is the toxic chemicals are listed under fragrance. And that's how they get away with listing the most toxic chemicals, because the FDA allows them to put fragrance on there because it's a proprietary chemical formula. And most of the most damaging estrogen mimickers and toxic chemicals that disrupt your hormone levels are actually listed under fragrance. And you're going to see that in all cosmetic products. My dad actually was a co-developer of Saran Wrap. He was one of the first inventors of PVC plastics, actually. So, and I just found out recently that he was about to come out with a report that a study saying that the plastics are directly linked to cancer and hormonal deficiencies and everything else.
Which is now proven. And then what happened to him right after that happened?
He was killed. I mean, you know, all of a sudden he got cancer in his throat one day, and a week later he was dead. And then a bunch of guys in suits showed up at my mom's house. I was there when they came in. They had a stack of paperwork this thick. You know, I was young. I didn't really understand what's going on. She was grieving, and they basically said, look, we're going to give you $250,000, sign all these documents, and then that's it. And then they put a memorial for my dad. They built a whole lake, and they put a little memorial thing up there at the Exxon Baytown facility.
We ought to go to that and show that, do a documentary about that.
Yeah, we should. I don't even know if it's still there, but I had pictures of it. I went out there one time. They had the bench and everything.
Oh, I'm sure it's there.
But my family history goes back to the Websters, the Pelatiah Webster, who was the original author of the U.S. Constitution. And the group family goes back to the Webster family on my grandmother's side. And Noah Webster, who's my great-great-great-great-grandfather, was the one that wrote the Webster's Dictionary and also put the hidden, Masonic code in the Webster's Dictionary, too. So I have a long history with the U.S., and considering my great-great-great-great-grandfather is the one that actually...
Well, a lot of folks that settled Texas do, yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, getting back to the personal care products, it's a combination of things that happen that you're putting on your skin every single day. I mean, just take standard soap, for example. You have triclosan in there, which is an endocrine disrupting chemical. You have phthalates in there. You have all different polyethylene glycol. There's probably 20.
Explain to folks what polyethylene glycol is.
Well, that's just antifreeze, basically.
Yeah, you drink that, you're deader than a hammer.
Right, and you're putting all that on your skin, and when you're in the shower... Let's turn this around.
I mean, where do you put a nicotine strip on your skin? Imagine under your arm, it's even more absorption. What's the word?
Right.
What's the word? Absorbing.
Yes. I mean, it's being directly absorbed through your skin.
Let's show some of the... And if the camera can zoom in, let's show some of the...
So your standard soap, your body spray, all your body sprays, body gels, I put aftershave, but believe it or not, perfumes and colognes, because they have the toxic fragrances in there and people spray those all over their body. Another thing that's extremely damaging is the spray sunscreen.
Oh, you go to the beach or Barton Springs, you're just breathing and these idiots are spraying it all over them.
Right, and they're just
too lazy
all over their skin, and all that's doing is going in and producing massive amounts of estrogen.
What's in Barbasol?
What's in Barbasol? That's going to be your shave cream, and you have stearic acid, you have trimethanolamine, you have isobutane. You have butane actually in there.
That's a bastard gas, Bobby.
You have 23, sodium lauryl sulfate. You have propane, and again, you have fragrance.
Propane and propane accessories?
That's right. So you're actually putting all those chemicals right on your face, and you're putting it on your skin, and that's disrupting all of your normal endocrine gland function, disrupting your hormone balance, which is why one of the reasons why we developed super female vitality and super male vitality, because yes, you need water is another big thing that you talked about with the fluoride. Well, if you just use the water filtration system and you just drink clean and pure water, you're already eliminating the fluoride, the pesticide residue, the insecticide residue, all the endocrine disrupting hormones. But they know when you disrupt your hormone levels that that's going to cause anxiety, and it's going to cause depression, and it's going to cause weight gain and lack of confidence. So what happens? Then you go to your psychologist, you tell your psychologist that you're feeling depressed, and what does your psychologist put you on? Paxil, put you on antidepressants, anti-anxieties, which are made of fluoride. So you're calcifying your pineal gland, your body's getting worse, your immune system's being depressed on a regular basis. So the solution is clean out your body, avoid all of the chemical substances. Don't buy any more Roundup for your yard anymore. Now you can go online and find, do-it-yourself natural organic insecticide mixes, pesticide. Get rid of all your cleaning products in your house. Replace them with natural substitutes. And you're eliminating, number one, all the hormone-disrupting chemicals, and not only hormone-disrupting chemicals, but disease-causing chemicals. Number two, you're not supporting any more of the big companies that are creating the chemical.
And then that will make the new dominant market the healthy stuff.
And that's exactly what's happening. I mean, now you're starting to see the dominant market, McDonald's, you're starting to see people that were, you know, I'd like to see Monsanto stop all the GMO stuff and stop the Roundup and come out with an organic, natural alternative. But you will see that a bit over time, because the demand is there. The organic movement, the natural movement is billions of dollar industry. It's growing rapidly. All of the stores, the regular grocery stores that never wanted to jump on the organic bandwagon have now jumped on, and they have a whole section in their store of organic stuff.
Look at how Brute has antifreeze in it. It says right there.
Yeah.
That's good for your cat.
Yeah, and you're just slapping it right on your face. You know, think of how many. I remember we had a.
Let me see the Barbasol. I'm gonna put it in.
We had a joke when I was growing up that all the men would get Old Spice deodorant for Christmas every. I mean,
oh, yeah.
Old Spice cologne for Christmas every year and splash it on. But think of, and you know, it's not only you're putting it on your skin, it's going into your body, but then you have to go to the bathroom too. So some of it gets absorbed in your system. It goes to the area of your body, which it can cause organ damage and everything else.
Kidneys.
And then you go to the bathroom, and it goes right back into the water supply. So
it is a joke. It is a joke. And, you know, people say they want to get rid of oil-based economy. I mean, nobody loves a big car with a big engine in it like I do. But let's face it, the oil economy is incredibly toxic. And the way we then put it into everything instead of just having toxic waste and storing it is insane. But it makes a lot of sense, and it dumbs the public down, and it is beyond science fiction. InfoWarsLife.com, folks. If you want to try to battle some of this, and regardless, you're funding the operation. They have a lot of great specials running right now, including 30% off DNA Force. Get your Super Male Vitality. It's back in stock.
The Genesis Communications Radio Network proudly presents The Alex Jones Show, because there's a war on for your mind.
Side issue, you can go to Real Alex Jones on Twitter to see our reporter, Rex Jones. Did a great report this week. They actually shot it last week. We took a few days off to go deep sea fishing. Well, it was rough, so I didn't go. I get seasick. Not super seasick, but they had up to 15-foot swells. My dad never gets seasick. He got seasick. He went on one of those big boats, like 50 people. They went out about 40 miles, and my son was in on catching as they let 4 different people battle it. It took hours. A 7-foot mako. Talk about a scary-looking shark. That's the #1 attacker in open water. I mean, they go after people on purpose. Great whites bite you and let go of you. They think you're a seal. Not mako. They come at you. And then, of course, CJ was pointing out one time he was, I guess, on the East Coast, and a bull shark chased him in. Those are the ones that attack you in shallow water. But he gaffed him, everything. He's got some video that was shot on a phone. I've got to get it off my dad's phone. But it's pretty dramatic. And, I mean, he went in. He's 12 years old. My dad said he's going to be way more manly than you. You never would have handled. It wasn't going to be a 12-hour trip. The fishing was so good that they did 16 hours in, like, just really bad weather. And I wimped out, didn't go out. And he was just out there battling and catching grouper and snapper. And he caught 5 sharks. Caught a reef shark. They had to let go. It was 4 feet long. He got a grouper up so big, but the huge grouper, but the hook came out. He's been out deep sea fishing probably 10 times. He said this was better than all of them combined. That's what's so great about our planet, and just how interesting it is and how wonderful it is and the adventure of it. And I don't know why I just went off in that direction.
Well, that's great. I mean, you know, I always say people need to do more things for fun, because a lot of times they don't take enough time to do things and to relieve their stress levels. And right now we're living in such a negative society, even though there's a lot of change. And I'm always like positive, because there's always solutions for every situation. But one of the things that we used to do is ask patients when they came in, you know, what makes you happy? And a lot of the patients that were sick that came in.
Nothing, they'd say. They
would say nothing, or they would just start crying.
I didn't know you were going to say that, but yeah.
Yeah.
All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. And for like the last 10 years, well, going back 15 years, for about 10 years, I kind of just got so focused and depressed fighting tyranny that I just gained like 80 pounds, didn't care, had no fun, worked 14 hours a day. Not anymore. I'm going to have a good time in the midst of all this evil. I'm not going to let them get me down.
I tell you what, I've noticed a huge difference in my life by taking the Super Male Vitality, and just because every guy over the age of 30, and I mean, the sad thing is you're starting to see children that are, you know, having gender bending qualities and are becoming boys that are becoming feminine because of all the estrogens. But
and they know in studies that's happening.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like we're making this up. The fact is that we are running out of testosterone anyway, without all the estrogen mimics.
What would you do with a son if you had a kind of sickly boy who wasn't, you know, manning up?
What's
too young to take?
8-year-old boy, and I have a 6-year-old boy.
What's too young to take Super Male?
Well, I actually give both of my boys Super Male, you know, maybe once every couple of weeks, or just to kind of stimulate that testosterone. I don't have any estrogen mimickers around, but even if you don't have it, you're still going to be exposed to it. If you eat out at any restaurant, you're going to have endocrine disrupting chemicals, because restaurants always use tap water to cook with. Plus, they have Teflon lined pans. They use GMO oils to cook with. So I mean, you know, you can't live in a bubble either. You just have to keep yourself clean and avoid as best as you can. But I use it with them. I take it on a regular basis. My wife takes the Super Female Vitality. We've noticed tremendous, you know, results. My energy levels have gone up.
Oh, by the way, listeners have put it in their wife or husband's drink and not told them. It's not placebo. I mean,
you have hundreds, I mean, of reviews online. I think the overall review is close to 4.5 stars. No nutraceutical companies even put reviews because they...
NoWorldOrder.com. We're going to do 5 more minutes and another guest is joining us. Dr. Group, thanks for being here. Stay with us, folks.
GCNlive.com today.
The average person's life is filled with unexpected challenges. Unlock the energy it takes to defeat these daily beasts with Super Male or Super Female Vitality, specifically designed to assist the body in regulating proper hormone balance to create superior vitality in males and females. Supercharge and conquer your world at InfoWarsLife.com or call 1-888-253-3139.
The government's Department of Homeland Security is buying up loads of ammo. At the same time, they're restricting civilians' rights to own and purchase firearms. Can you put 2 and 2 together? Infidel Body Armor can stop every round, including hollow points and .308 sniper rounds, is reasonably priced and fully legal. But for how long? Go to InfidelBodyArmor.com, spelled I-N-F-I-D-E-L, bodyarmor.com. Infidel Body Armor. Just won't quit.
You're listening to The Alex Jones Show.
Big Brother, mainstream media.
Big Brother, mainstream media, government cover-ups.
You want answers?
You want answers?
So do we.
Well, so does he.
He's Dr. Group.
He's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network.
And now,
live from Austin, Texas, Alex Jones.
Final segment with my compadre. Then we've got a special guest joining us to get into a host of issues. I'm going to hit a bunch of breaking news at Infowars.com as well. Dr. Group, we just had CJ and us discussing all the gender crisis. A lot of it's social. But that's to then confuse kids that are already genetically, as we know, what these hormones do in the womb, to baby development, to areas of the brain. I mean, there are people that have more female-style brains in a, quote, male chassis. There are women who kind of have male brains. You see a lot of the, you know, group of standard, you know, lesbians out there. And, you know, I guess they call themselves, you know, kind of the diesel ladies or whatever. And, I mean, it is a type. Black or white, they look the same. There is something genetic there. We know that's always going on. I'm not here even judging anybody, but we're seeing gender bending in other mammals, in aquatic life, in fish, and amphibians. It's a host of things, but we know that these gender benders, you know, it's not social stuff driving down sperm counts 80 to 90%. I mean, what do you think at its heart is behind it? A cocktail? What's in that cocktail?
No, there's more and more studies coming out every day. I mean, they're injecting, you know, scientists are injecting eggs with phthalates, or fragrances, or some of these endocrine disrupting chemicals, and inside the egg, the males are turning into females. The water supply You know, they're seeing frogs that are hermaphrodite frogs.
Why are you a sexist against hermaphrodite frogs? Let's not discuss why they're having hermaphrodite problems. Let's just accept it and take the shot to become one to prove you're not racist.
Because the frogs are being exposed to chemicals which are changing them, which leads to these poor children who don't know whether they're a male or a female in their mind.
And then to even have a clear sex role is now hurtful to someone else. We have to get rid of all of it.
And the social aspect is, of course, acceptance and all that. But again, they're not addressing the root cause of the problem. And that's the problem in the United States with the government, everything. Nobody addresses the root cause of the financial situation we're in. Nobody addresses the root cause of, you know, why disease exists. Nobody addresses the root cause of why we're starting wars over in the Middle East. Nobody addresses the root cause of any of these issues. And the root cause of why these children are having thoughts, or these male children think they're female, or these female children think they're male, is because of these chemicals. And that's not, and I'm not just saying.
Well, I never thought that.
Proven.
I never felt like that in my life. I got to tell you, going on super male vitality and the X2 that, you know, obviously blocks the estrogens and blocks the bad halogens. I mean, I'm crazed. I just really appreciate God creating women. I'm not having these problems.
Well, let me tell you, the women are happy, too, because not only does the super male and the super female, you know, get you back to where you were 12 or 13 again.
Ah, mine.
But then you add some iodine to that, too, and you activate your thyroid gland. And then you're, you know, once your system comes together, you know.
You start acting like a crazed male like you always did before.
No, you start acting like a calm, adjusted male who had.
I've always been a little crazed. Is that bad?
I don't think so. I mean, I don't think it's bad to be a little crazed every now and then. But I have a secret formula that I'm going to give you, which is going to make you happy and smiling all day long.
I don't want that. I like the way I am.
But the deal, but the thing is, you know, what are you serving these kids in their schools that they're in? I mean, I'm trying to create this campaign with these.
Now you're against Michelle Obama. If you don't want the kids eating prison food GMO, you're racist.
I am, because the kids don't even know who they are anymore, because all the food that they're eating and the water that they're drinking is
racist, 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 racist. Racists go home. Racists go home. Racists go home. Racists go home. No, 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 no. George Soros loves you.
I think you took too much super male vitality.
No, I'm just repeating what they said.
I told you it was 20 to 30% stronger, didn't I? Now look what happened.
No, I'm just being silly. I'm trying to imitate one of these politically correct people. Group, the fact that you're even a man is racist. Listen, great job, Dr. Group, on the new formulation of super male, super female, sold out right now. The new formula available at InfoWarsLife.com, and you're funding our operation of Crazed Liberty promotion. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thank you, Dr. Group.